Hi. How's it going?
Good, good. It's going well, I have to
Good.
like hide wait, how do I hide my name so I can just show my my sweater? Can we show our
Oh.
sweaters? Like
I mean, mine is ugly enough at the time.
we are rocking the ugly Christmas sweaters for
Yeah,
y'all.
we're right on. We're right
Mm.
on theme, and I have my gingerbread house earrings.
Oh, so cute. I love it.
Thank
Okay.
you.
I did
Thank
not
you.
come I had my hat, but I was like, I don't know. It's too
Yeah,
Yeah.
we're on theme.
Yes, yes. How's it going?
Good. This holiday season is overwhelming. Like, I guess for me, just in speaking for myself, this Melody, being a new mom is a lot. And she don't even know what's going on, and I'm overwhelmed. I don't
Right.
know how some parents do it with kids that really want toys.
As it gets nearer, like if you're on social media, it picks up on your habits and then it
Yeah,
starts to show, right? Like these gift ideas, probably things that you clicked on, and you're like, oh, this would be nice.
yeah.
Is this a memory that she will have, or is this, it's hard to decide, and you just want your child to be happy and enjoy the holiday
Yeah.
season.
I think I'm just leaning more towards we just relax. There should be no pressure. Like the tree is up. Um, we made it. That's where I'm at.
And that's why we're here tonight because as you're sharing with us, appreciate that you have an infant near toddler and you're even overwhelmed with the holidays, right? But I guess for those that don't know me, by the way, my name is Serene Prince. I'm a parent coach and child therapist and owner of Orchard Blue Counseling Services. You're to my left. And you can introduce yourself, Dr. T, to the people.
Of course, I'm Dr. T. I'm a school psychologist as well as a licensed psychologist. I own Path2Growtg Counseling Services, and the holiday season, we've seen an increase in referrals and also just talking about behavior. So I think that's how we came up with this topic. It was something that was on top of mind because it's something that we've noticed and wanted to highlight for sure.
Yeah. As having private practices, when the children come back from the school break, is a pattern where I would occasionally, receive calls from parents for older children, really, who have like a meltdown about not getting the gift that they wanted or that they got everything and more. And there was a behavior in school that came up, and there's a mix of emotions, thoughts about
Right.
I shouldn't have given them any gifts. Or there's a parent that's calling and say, I didn't give them any gifts, and this behavior, it resulted in this behavior, right? So I know that you, Dr. T, are going to take us into about really, I guess, like going back to basics, like the meaning of the holidays. I mean, a few other things that
Yeah.
we talked about when we had planned for the live.
I There's so many things to cover, but I definitely want to just talk about like just in general how parents can kind of feel compelled during the holidays to give gifts, or even like I myself even am fighting it and being like, "Oh my gosh, I have to have all these things done." And it's like, "But why?" So I just want to dive into that, and please, like if you're in the chat, like, you can answer these questions or just talk about that. Like, do you feel compelled to give gifts just to begin with, whether or not they're behaviors or not? Like, do you give gifts? Are you tying gifts to them well behaved and getting good grades, or are you really just giving gifts because you feel like it's the holiday season, everybody else is giving gifts, so I want to give gifts? And I want to just challenge parents to really think about that. Like, why are you giving gifts this holiday season? Why do you feel like there's a need? And what would happen if you were to change that pattern or that habit and just start something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I love that. You know, when you say about the patterns, right? I think about certain cultures where gift giving is important, children that go to certain schools
Yeah.
where it's expected, right? That these kids are coming back and they're saying the things that they got. And parents are trying to keep up with the Joneses, if you will.
Right.
There can either be a financial strain or there's no financial strain, but it seems to be going against your parenting. You're recognizing that this is not the true meaning. This is not what I want to offer my child. And navigating, redefining, or sort of promoting the meaning of the holidays for your family versus the expectations of your society that you're in, whether it's the school, whether it's the community that you're in, and or even your family.
Yeah, 100%. I think that is because, like, we're both Caribbean. Like, our parents, when they were growing up, your parents in Antigua, my parents in Haiti, like, or even our great grandparents, whatever, they were just there wasn't like this need to get a tree and to get all these things. Like, of course, Christmas was celebrated, but there was a religious piece to it. There was a more of a focus on going to church, which is what I was raised, which is very much like we're gonna spend Christmas in church. We're gonna sing Christmas songs for religious based Christmas themes. So I think that sometimes it also depends on where you are culturally. But I
Yeah.
think because of America being so capitalist centered, and like, if you walk into any store right now, there is a huge section of just toys everywhere. So it's almost like it's like the companies are saying like buy, 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 get them, get them, get them, get them. To the point where what I'm seeing happening is like parents on top of like, because the first quarter will end like in November for school. So it's just like, I'm gonna get you something for getting good grades. And then all of a sudden then we have to switch to getting them something for Christmas. And then there is a birthday. So I can see why it's a lot of pressure on parents, especially because you have December babies. My
Mhm.
baby's born in January. So it's just like, what do we do with that? Like,
Oh, that's a
you
that's
know,
a tough subject for me because my birthday's in January, and people like, "Well, I got you something for Christmas." I said, "That's nice." But my birthday's still happening, like, we're not
yeah,
how does
exactly.
that work? Like, should I have
Yeah.
been born in June? And then I would have gotten a
You
separate
would have had
gift.
a separate birthday because I'm not even gonna lie, like my brother's birthday's in December, and I'd be like, "Hey, I got you for Christmas." And this
Nah,
unfair
but
with the
that
baby.
goes back to what is the purpose of gifts, right?
Yeah,
I know when we are talking, and you probably mentioned that sometimes parents are buying the gifts because of how it makes them feel,
yeah,
not necessarily how it's going to make the child feel. Um, but let's take it back, right, to because there's so many layers to this.
yeah. There's a lot of
Challenging behaviors, because I think that's where it started from, where, we have people that utilize Santa. "Oh, Santa's not gonna get you a
and
gift."
Elf on the Shelf. Elf
You
on
the
the Shelf is
elf,
popular.
right? And it's measured like, "I'm gonna give you something if you behave."
Yeah,
Um, or you're not going to get anything. And so I find that interesting about, first of all, sort of dangling a gift over a child for behavior when that should just be something that's happening all year round, where you're working
right,
on, and helping them improve their behaviors. And then when it comes close to the end of the year, what's happening close to the end of the year? People are getting children are getting their school report cards.
yeah,
The teacher's like, "Well, I don't know, they have another, what is it, 4, 5 months of school."
mhm,
What is it, doubt, like, they may not there's promotion in doubt or something like that. They
yeah,
may be promoted, um, and the behaviors become more clear. And then there's a parent that says, "Well, I'm not gonna get them anything." Right?
right,
I think you had raised an important, point when we were talking about it, is the thing that you're not getting them is the thing that they need.
right, exactly. And I think this is the hard part about the holidays is that you are one tying their behaviors to getting a gift, but on top of that, the holiday season is already something where I want to get you a gift automatically. So then it puts you in a very difficult position because it's just like, well, I was gonna get you this gift anyway. Half of the time, you've already bought the gift. You've already bought the gift and it's under the tree because you can't have an empty tree. So a lot of times, at least what I hear from parents is they'll be like, they'll point to the tree and be like, "Remember, Christmas is coming up," but they're gonna get it anyway. So it doesn't really help to kind of use that whole like, "You better behave, Santa's watching, Elf on the shelf," when they're gonna get gifts regardless. And the other thing that ends up happening too is that this is such a very overstimulating season. I work with a lot of neurodivergent children, but it's still overstimulating for every child. There's all this constant gifts, 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 toys, toys everywhere. Everywhere you look, a child, as soon as they walk into Target, it is overstimulating. The music, the toys, look at this, on YouTube, they're seeing gifts. So it's just overstimulating for children in general. So behaviors are naturally going to increase regardless. And then you're stuck in a position where what if they misbehave on December 23rd? What if there's a big issue? What do you do? What do you do then? You're like, all right, well, get it together for Christmas Eve, and then and then
Not
they
going
don't.
to happen. That's not
so
going to happen.
so a
Yeah,
lot of children like it ends up hurting you more than helping you with this
right.
through all of that. And to me, if I had to say anything, it's like to release the pressure of the holiday gift giving on you and kind of use holidays as a time for family and creating your own traditions. Like Christmas is this time that we wake up, we watch movies,
Mm,
we start our own traditions, we light this candle, we do this, we help, we volunteer. So it takes the pressure off of you. And then gifts can just be an added bonus. It's just like we're gonna give each other like what we need. Like, do you need socks? We'll give you socks. Do you need this? Do you need that? Like, and the big ones, in my opinion, should be really reserved for like, you know, maybe that's reserved for birthdays, or maybe that's just reserved for you're gonna get this PS5 not for Christmas, but at the end of the school year when you've demonstrated that big changes. To me, a big gift equals big change. If you
right.
are going to tie a big gift with Christmas, that's fine, but then don't tie it with a behavior. Then it just becomes you get the big stuff for Christmas. Not because of your behavior or anything like that, but because it's Christmas, and that's when we give big gifts because that's when we're able to afford it. That could be it. Well, you let me know your thoughts, Serene, on that.
I have two. Yeah. So I agree that withholding a gift because of poor behavior, it needs to be clear. Like you
Mhm.
mentioned to me before, like, is this something that they need? So if it's a laptop and they need it for school,
That's true.
what it like in the Caribbean, they said, don't cut off your nose to spite your face. Because if you don't get them the laptop, then how they gonna do the homework? They're
That's
using your laptop? Like, that's not going to work. Like, so
that's
maybe we
true.
need to get the laptop, right? It has multiple purposes there. So the laptop can be the thing that you purchase. If it's the pair of Jordans, um, or maybe it's a pair of maybe it's not Jordans because maybe they do need sneakers, right?
That's true too.
But perhaps it doesn't have to be $300 sneakers, not throwing any shade, but if you're making a big deal about the Jordans, is either because of how much it costs and or the name. So you have to really look at, I would say, if you're deciding to withhold a gift, make sure it's not a need.
That's
That
true.
that's the
Yeah.
first thing. So if it's a need, give it, right? The second thing, like you mentioned, like the big gifts. So it's a PS5 or um,
Something
some
over a
other
thousand dollars or
some
five
other
hundred thousand
a
dollars.
Gucci knapsack. Well, go, they maybe not the Gucci knapsack. Maybe that's
Mhm.
going to wait until the school year, and so, but then also replace it, right? So I see oftentimes where like there were memes, and I have posted some, and sorry people if you felt I was being mean about it, where persons were like humiliating their
Mm-hmm.
child in front of everyone about not getting a gift. That's harmful.
Right.
That's like that tough love. And tough love, there are implications to doing that. And
Right.
so love, I think of like an authoritarian parent who's like, well, you didn't do this, so you don't get anything. So everyone's sitting around the Christmas tree, people are opening up their gifts, and they're just sitting there with their empty hands looking. That isn't nice. That is not kind. And I don't think the
And
holidays is about not being kind.
right. Well, we talked about that too. We touched upon like the parents. There's two ends of the spectrum where the parent is like really joyful to see their child get a gift. And then there's this weird thing that happens. Like, I don't know if you remember, like when everyone was getting coal, like where coal was a thing. I don't know if it's still a thing, but like TikTok shaming is a bit similar to that, where it's just like, well, a kid will open a present and it'll be an empty gift. It'll be in the shape of something that they want, and then it's just like there's like, see, haha, like I told you, like you misbehaved. That's why you didn't get what you. Oh, that's what it was like. So it'll be like I remember seeing videos of like a PS5, like opening it, and then they're like really excited, and then the parent was just like, "Yeah, gotcha." So there's like two sides of the spectrum. It's just like there's parents that are like, I really want to see you smile, and then there's parents who I'm going to assume are thinking, if I make this painful enough, it's gonna get you together. And to me, I don't see that happening. I feel like I see that creating more resentment and more feelings of pain.
And then I'm like, well, I know where they learned this from.
That's
And I tell the
withholding.
parent, I'm like, this sounds familiar, don't you think? And that's exactly how I say it. I'm like, this sounds familiar. And he's like, oh, Serena. I'm like, well, let's take a deeper look here. I said, you're an adult, so people tolerate it. But when it's a child, people do not. But it's the same behavior, it just looks
Yeah.
different.
I can't imagine my husband doing that to me. I can't imagine him like giving me like an empty jewelry box and being like, haha. Like I would.
It. I'm like, that's
Yeah,
what? Like, where are we going with this?
that would be really scary. So I don't know why people feel very comfortable doing that to children. I think it's something to reflect on. Like, why did it get to the point where you wanted to make the holiday season a time to really drive the point home?
Yeah. Before I go on to my thought about what next can happen, what does that look like for a child with autism who's on the spectrum, right? Um, I know sometimes, we have parents who are like, is this, when should I say this is ASD and when should I say this is a behavioral issue,
Yeah.
if you know what I mean, right? And yeah, can you speak to that a little bit?
It's a very hard thing because, like, again, this is just an overstimulating period for any child, but for kids on the spectrum and with ADHD, there is like a strong perceived sense of justice where like they're just like, you told me that I'd be given this and it did not happen. Like, what is it? So it's I noticed a lot of times parents will just kind of be like, they're kind of going back and forth, like, you're gonna get it, you're not gonna get it. And that it can be very triggering because oftentimes they want stability, they want certainty, and that's where you get the anxiety from. There's I For all kids, it's important to teach them things through behavior charts, token boards, what have you. But I find that it causes a lot of dysregulation in already dysregulated children when you take away their sense of safety, and when you take away like the feeling of like, oh, I thought I was gonna get this, and then it becomes, you lied to me, I can't trust you, like you're unreliable. And I think some parents will get triggered on by that by itself and be just like, how could you talk to me like this? Like, I'm your parent, I'm the one in control. And then we get into a huge power struggle. Like, it's bad. Like, I've seen parents be like, well, he did this, and it's just like, you kind of spiraled it doing this one action that they thought they could trust you what you said, and then you went back and reneged. So it's just like, you can't just blame it all on the child, especially a neurodivergent child.
Yeah, it's true. And I see that too for children who are in co-parenting households where parents are divorced
Mm-hmm.
and and there's two separate households, and it's like, you said you were going to buy this, right?
Right.
Because it provides a sense of safety. It's like, okay, I can count on you for this, right? um, and navigating the withholding the gifts at a time like that for a child with ASD, the perseveration and
Hmm.
just and like, this is what you said you're gonna get. This is what I'm gonna get. I
Right.
asked for that. You said you're gonna get it, and you said you're gonna get it, and you said you're going to get it. And we're a child who is having that adjustment period, who's actually experiencing a sense of loss between their
Yes,
parents. There's a similar dynamic of needing reassurance
that's
there,
true. Hmm.
right? And so when you're deciding to take away something, when something has already been taken away from them, perhaps parents can think about, what else can I do differently to um, address their behavioral issues that's not appropriate, right? That may not look like be something taken away, but maybe they're giving something to someone else, like
Right.
tearing somewhere, you know? So maybe you're not taking something away, like, well, what can we give? We can give some time, right? Maybe there's clothing that you have that I gave to you last year that doesn't fit anymore.
Right.
What identify to give to someone else, and sort of like thinking outside the box. Um, so yeah, this was good. Another thing I say to parents, well, they just didn't arrive to this bad behavior. Like, it's been going on. So
That's well, that comes again, like for the most part, I want to say that parents are throughout the year giving gifts. So, but then again, the holidays adds an extra layer of pressure because as soon as you walk into any store, all you see are gifts. So then you're already setting the high expectation. And I think you said this to me at one point, but I remember we talked about it, or it's just like you had a parent who had said, "Oh, if you want this, then what am I going to get you for Christmas?" So
right.
it's
Yeah,
like,
I was
you
in
know,
Target.
yeah, it's in Target. So I even see a lot of times, like, and this just happened. I forget where I was. Oh, I was at a museum, or no, sorry, an aquarium. And then I remember a parent being like, "Oh man, like you can get that." Like I could see the struggle in their eyes. Like, how do I grapple with giving you a gift now, but also you're gonna get a gift later? And it just speaks to the developmental stages of children. Like they're gonna see something and want it.
Yeah.
That's just what it is. Like we have to expect that. And if you're going to take them through Target and they're going to see toys, there's a part of them that does not want to wait until Christmas. And then
Mhm.
there's also like you're trying to like say, "Oh, like I want to surprise you," and all those other things. Like you're putting so much pressure on you this holiday and the child. So then
Mhm.
you get them the toy, you get them a little toy, and then you're just like, "Oh, but I got all these other toys." You're just going to be in a constant habit or a constant battle cycle, whatever, of just giving gifts and not knowing like when to kind of be like, when do I not give a gift? When do I not? So that's why I'm saying for a lot of parents to just reframe the holidays. The
Yeah.
best gift you can give a child is a present parent. And that's what I fully intend on doing as a parent myself. Like my daughter's birthday's coming up, and
Mhm.
to me, taking off of work and just being with her is the best gift I can give. And I
Mhm.
think we lose sight of that. Like as soon as you see the gifts opening presents, they're not even paying attention to parents. You got a good Instagram moment for like 5-10 minutes where they're happy, and now they're not even focused on you. They're taking this toy to their room, and everybody's like gone, and then the spirit of like being together in a family is gone. And I think that there's something to be said of like we need to just reinstitute that spiritual or just that connection again, where it's just like let's just give the gift of our presence to each other.
Yeah. And also, when you're asking your child to change behaviors, what will you change as a parent?
Yeah.
What aspect of your parenting needs to change? And that's where we come in. But it's not an easy question to answer for some parents, because a lot of times they're saying, I'm doing all that I can. Like, I don't know what else I could do. I give them everything. I'm like, well,
Yeah.
that's probably this one of the issues.
Or the other thing that I hear a lot of parents say is like, I didn't have a great Christmas, so it's my duty now to give my children a great Christmas. Because a
Yeah.
lot of times I see parents are giving gifts out of a sense of like, I didn't have this, I was lacking, so now I have to give this to my child. And I always say, like, do you have to? Or can you give them the other things that you were missing? Emotional security, connection, love, present parenting. Your
Mhm.
child, like, I've seen children play with an Amazon box. Like, they made a rocket ship out of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Like, they
You're
did.
like, "I spent all that money, and here we are." Yes, that's where you are. Like,
Yeah, you have to do a little bit of reflection in terms of like, is this for me or is this for my child? And if it
mhm,
is for you, there's something to be said of. I'm happy that you're able to provide that. Like you're in a much better position, but that may not be what your child needed. And I would always say, reflect back to your childhood. Outside of the gifts, what else did you need?
yeah,
Or even if your mom was a single mom, like, and she did the best she could, she made Christmas poppin'. She did something for you. She took you guys to McDonald's on her lap. Like those are stuff that you remember, right? So I try to be like, what are the factors of your childhood were so great and so impactful that you can also reenact that for your childhood, for your
yeah.
child and your children.
And some parents who had, a horrible childhood, who really had parents who were MIA, who
Mhm.
emotionally detached, who were really immature as parents, unfortunately,
Right.
and children who had to figure out how to make the best of a situation, or later on realize that they were not emotionally safe.
Hmm.
Gifts are not, like you mentioned, gifts do not make you safe.
Yeah.
And so that anxiety can really influence a child's anxiety, you know. Like you mentioned, when I was in Target, this child clearly, the excitement, the anxiety that I was just like, the dad was just, he looked like he was just disconnecting because he was overwhelmed. And the child
Mhm.
wasn't screaming, by the way. It wasn't like, he was just like, I want that and I want that. And that was like, I saw him go like, "What am I gonna get?"
You
It was
probably
almost
I
like
got
he
you
was,
so many gifts from before.
yeah, it was almost like he was almost thinking about maybe he should get something. He's like, "Well, what am I going to get you?" You know? And there was a struggle there. And so, it's so important to be proactive, as we embark on the holidays, and the new year. Is important to be proactive in supporting your child, like with the parent coaching, not
Mhm.
parent coaching, sorry, family coaching, right? Is it
Yeah,
ASD
family,
coaching,
yeah.
that you have going on, and my parent coaching for children with behavioral health concerns, not ASD in particular. So to take a proactive approach and start looking at your parenting, right?
Right.
So that you can be more equipped and have strategies to support your child in changing their behavior, you know, before Christmas comes and throughout the year, and just redefining gift giving, period, you know? Yeah.
Or just the holidays, because the holidays don't have to be a time where you're forced to give gifts. And the other thing about it too, you touched upon it beautifully, is that some of the things that kids want are almost bordering on a need, that it's always so hard to make that determination. Like, how do I label this as a gift, or is this because you did need these socks? You did these stickers, you did need this laptop. So it's a little like it's hard for parents. So I'm like, you need to just release the pressure that you put on yourself. And it's
Right.
just like, if you need to get the laptop, then get the laptop. You don't necessarily have to wait or wrap it up and hide it and put you're putting so much pressure on yourself. For a child is just gonna be like, great laptop. I need this for our report. Thanks. And now you're frustrated and now you're triggered because you're just like they're not grateful.
And I know the retailers will not like me saying this, but you ain't really saving nothing. Waiting for Black Friday is not a sale, okay?
It's
There are
not
sales
right.
throughout the entire year. So if your child needs it and you can budget for it, um, then my suggestion is consider buying it throughout the year. and doing that, maybe that one big gift, and make
Mhm.
sure that, like you were saying, Dr. T, that there is a meaning behind that, right?
Right.
That there's a meaning behind the PlayStation. Um, and yes, you want your child to see joy and be able to enjoy these things that bring them joy, right? But make sure there's a meaning behind that and not waiting until Christmas to do an overload. Because I
Yeah.
feel as though um, you're only sort of exacerbating these underlying emotional or mental health conditions of theirs where you're overwhelming them with all these things.
And I also just want to put into perspective, like just from the adults that I've worked with that are currently neurodivergent or have late diagnoses, because I've been doing a lot of late diagnosis. I if I had to ask them a question, remember when you were Christmas when you were 10 years old, what'd you get? They probably wouldn't remember. For them, what they do remember is not getting the support from their parents, not getting the diagnosis they need when they needed it, and not being believed and something happened to them and the parents didn't take their side and supported them. That's what they do remember. So I work with a lot of adults who aren't sitting there saying, "Oh yeah, for Christmas when I was 10 years old, I remember getting that one thing I really liked." I can probably name a gift that I like, but it'd probably be like a one time only standalone thing that really happened. I can't really remember. But what I do remember truthfully is having the tradition of being in my pajamas, drinking hot chocolate, and being with my family. Like that was the best time. And I feel like I want to recreate that for my daughter now. But like the presence, there's nothing that beats presence, a parent present, being
Mhm.
present with their children. There's nothing like it. I tell people all the time, and I only say that because I'm working with adults who are wishing that they had support from their parents and having to do the work of forgiving their parents for not giving them what they needed.
I love that. The present is your presence.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's beautiful. Yeah. So, um, I'll share something. So, this is our last live. I don't know if you want to add anything else to this.
No, well, I guess we'll just talk about our services and how what our plans are for the end of the year in 2025, like where we're going with this.
Yeah. This is our We had lives before. We had 2 lives before, so this is more intentional and defined, I
Yeah.
think. And I love it. And so people, I mean, be on the lookout. That's
Yeah.
all I can say.
Be
Be
on
on
the
the
lookout, follow us, subscribe because I often put out things in the subscription or our newsletters, our company newsletters. But yeah, I didn't want to just talk about it. But if you want to start, or I can start, let
yeah,
me know.
go ahead, because I can't seem to figure this thing out.
Well, I was going to say, in terms of family coaching, we're still taking a lot of families. And I say family coaching because really, like a neurodivergent diagnosis like ADHD or autism really affects the whole family. And parents really don't know where to start or where to begin. So that's where our services start at the diagnosis. We talk about behavior management, how to handle these holidays, how to handle overstimulating times. And for 2025, I just really want to work with as many schools as I can because I want to partner with schools. If you want, I really want to help bridge the gap between schools and home. I find that schools are often saying, "I don't know who to turn to, like who can give them guidance." Like you can reach out to me and we can link up, and I can provide services for your school and for the families you serve. It's really important for me. So that's one of my goals is to collaborate with more schools so we can connect with more families in need.
Yeah, absolutely. And so yeah, I as well, I offer parent coaching surrounding co-parenting conflicts, um, blended family conflicts, parents who are parenting children with behavioral health concerns, and parenting teens with serious mental health
Mhm.
conditions. And, we are seeing a lot of parents, in schools in particular, who there are students who are experiencing emotional dysregulation to the point where they need to be transferred to a pediatric psychiatric hospital for further evaluation to ensure their safety. Because we oftentimes are seeing children who are reporting suicidal ideation or self-harming. And so we in the parent coaching, I really want to be a support to the parents in developing solutions and strategies to mitigate like these conflicts in co-parenting that impacts the child's
Yeah.
behavior. Oftentimes parents will say, I don't know why. And then when I dive deep, there's a separation, there's a divorce, then there's a shift in the child's behavior. We also have the coaching for blended families, which is similar to co-parenting, where one of the parents have re-entered into a relationship. And there's some difficulty surrounding roles and defining roles. Um, Also, for myself on January 23rd, I will have a parent workshop surrounding children with anxiety. So, for those that want to sign up, it is $10. It will be with one of our staff, Yaritza Smith, who is a certified school social worker, and it's empowering your child and teen to flourish, recognizing anxiety, signs, and implementing effective coping strategies for success. And if your child is struggling with anxiety, it's so important to help them obtain the tools, but also for you to learn about the different types of anxiety so that you can really zone in on that and see where your child needs support, even
Mhm.
past the workshop. But the workshop is key because my motto is a well parent raises a well child. And
Amen.
parents being educated, educating and equipping yourselves, you have the power to support your child. It really starts with you. You are in the driver's seat. When you come to me and you're telling me that you want your child to receive therapy, I am informing you, supporting you to help your child. So, our parent workshop that is on a Thursday, January 23rd, from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m., it is online. It will be with myself and our teen and woman of color therapist, Yuritsa Smith, who's a certified school social work. And we will also dive into your particular issues and concerns and offer you support there. And it's only $10. You can sign up on Eventbrite, or you can go to our website, orchardbluecounseling.com, and go to our event page and sign up there.
Love it. Love it.
Yeah. So this is great.
Yeah.
So that I am taking off a few days for the end of the year.
As you should.
Yes. I cannot wait to get some rest and prepare for 2025, all the wonderful
Mhm.
things that it has for us. Each of us delivering our family. Well, you have, family coaching. Is it family coaching?
Yeah. Or
Yeah.
parent support. It's the same. It's just I just
Okay.
say family coaching because it's helping for everybody, but parents
Yeah.
are definitely the main thing.
Yeah. And my coaching and the workshop. So that's it.
Yeah.
I
Good
wish I
for
had
you.
some Christmas music to play because I got my hat, child. So can I
Oh
don't know.
yeah, you can put your hat on. There we go. Now we're in the spirit.
Oh, I'm in the spirit. Everybody see me now.
Now we're
I
in
have
the
no
spirit. I love
sense. And you know what? Creating activity parents of creating an ugly sweater. Find an old sweater that you all have before you throw it away, right? That's a good activity.
it.
And create an ugly sweater. You can take ornaments, maybe your inexpensive ornaments or something
Yeah.
from the Dollar Tree. And that could be really fun. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Yeah.
someone said that it's the hat for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a hat for me, so you're doing it.
I got tilted to the side, yeah, tilted to the side.
Yeah, I love it.
All right, everyone. Thank you. Thank you for joining
Yes,
us.
thank you. Catch us in 2025 for another topic. So we'll see you soon and happy holidays.
Happy holidays, everyone.